Once Human, yes, is finally getting a brand new scenario. I'll go over all the details we have on it so far in the full unveiling. Included with that reveal is actually the brand new battle pass and teasers there. On top of everything else, we actually have some major changes to the building system optimization plans. We got a ton to talk about. What's up, World Utopia here, back in with another video. Today we're checking out all things Once Human. Okay, so first off here, I know you guys are curious on what is going on with the new scenario. Well, we do actually have some new details on it and some new testing and PTR. Now, of course, as usual, it's through the Code Dev Access platform, but they have unveiled some details here for the public. Now, in China, the translation here is a bit different, but they are saying basically I will become the abnormal object master, and the new scenario title over there is Era of the Abnormal Objects, which again is on the code development platform. However, in English, this is actually probably going to be Once Human Era of Anomalies. It could also pertain to anomaly deviants or deviations. But yeah, the name might vary there. We'll have to see what it actually is. Again, as I've gone over before, Raid Zone, or what it's called Raid Zone in the global client, is actually called Inversed War over there in China, at least due to the translations. So it might be a bit different there. We'll have to see what the actual official name is. This is currently a 2-week sign-up period for the brand new scenario. Again, we're going to call it for right now, Era of Anomalies. Again, test access has now been granted, and a bit of the description there is it's time to step in the world of the strange containment, high-stakes combat, and evolution. They did give off some important notes here, but this is mostly pertaining again to the Chinese client. It is currently PC only, so not on the mobile devices. That is via the NetEase Fever platform. Again, we have loading bay over in the global release, and this is under full NDA over there in China. And it is a lot more locked down, as you actually do need to have your ID. So when people get banned, they typically do get banned forever over there. There is no leaking of the NDA, or they'll never be in one again. They do mention that if you are a past tester over there, you will be able to update directly, and that no re-download of the entire game is needed. So it is quite nice for those that do have the Code Dev platform, can actually just download an update. Again, this one is entirely locked down to China. Typically, we get the PTR a few months later, sometimes not at all. In fact, that actually did happen with the Way of Winter. Although the global clients actually did get Raid Zone early, or at least there was PTR testing there. I do believe Endless Dream wasn't able to be tested though, at least not here. So there is a difference there depending on what it could be. It seems like sometimes they do testing here in the NA client, or at least the World client, whereas the China client does get some of those exclusive ones. Now, their test is lasting from August 8th all the way till August 22nd, so I wouldn't expect to get the NA client anytime soon, if at all. It probably will be a month after that or a few weeks later, so if anything, expect it to be maybe around September. They do mention it's a very limited test right now, very small scale, and they do say a second wave may be released depending on results. Again, that's when we could see the global client for that. I think the only unfortunate part here for the global clients is they actually do get some rewards over there. They do get some nice rewards here, like the theme background, the apologetic living gel. It seems they do typically bring these to the global client, but only with certain tests or only with certain rewards. Of course, we have to wait and see if they do actually provide that for the other clients. So far, basically confirmed, it's a new PvE scenario, Era of Anomalies, focusing on that capture, battle, and growth we saw before, kind of like Pokemon, where you are capturing those deviations and then fighting them. They have shown us some teasers of this already. We do have a few speculations here on what this actually could be. So likely features, right now it could be anomaly companions. Again, as I went before, where you capture and fight with the anomalies as pets. We also could finally see the fusion and evolution system incorporated, where some anomalies can be merged together to unlock secret or secondary forms, and some scenario-exclusive progression systems that may be self-contained, essentially separate from everything else. So things that you do in this scenario might not exactly carry over to the other one, especially the evolution and fusion part. We'll have to wait and see though, that just could be pertained to that one. Moving on, and next up here, as I mentioned, they're doing a major building system optimization overhaul. Recently, they had some 1v1 talks with the top 16 players. This was over there in China or local, where essentially 16 players from across China did visit NetEase headquarters. They were doing direct talks with the building system dev team and identifying problems and future plans. So they did actually unveil their building plan and optimization there. Currently, the support strength and optimizations for restricted zones will no longer deduct support coefficients. Basically, in the non-restricted zones, they will no longer lower your structure stability score just because you're placing something. Basically, before this change, even in open zones, if you built a long platform, platform, floating walkway, or even an overhang, the game might deduct from your support score rating. They also mention on top of all these fixes, there's going to be some UI and interaction overhaul. They're going to be reorganizing all the different structures and furnitures into clear categories, merging duplicate and mirrored structures to reduce the total component count, and adding a custom UI option. The first two, ETA is September, the last one has been approved, meaning essentially it is now in the pipeline, but there is no ETA. On top of those changes there, the snap in collision has been improved, where full collision detection optimizations, global snap reviews, snap based on target structure, manual structure rotation, standardizing structure size specs. There's going to be even snap fixes with floating buildings, and even stairs and door snaps have been aligned. Now some here have been approved. Again, if it's been approved, that just means that they're going to be adding it to the list. Whereas if it says dev here, that means that it is currently in development, but is not in the client just yet, and there is no ETA. There's also going to be an increase to the max structure furniture limits. That's also in development, which does include some new visual content. They're going to be adding some Chinese style furniture and more interactive furniture as well. As we've seen recently, they have done so. It's also going to be some expansions to terrain, the moving system optimization where you can build beyond the terrain limits, fixing furniture disappearing, demolition upgrades with one-click demolition, pre-warning for furniture, and removing a wall without losing the wallpaper. They had a few other ones here, like the commercial features, being able to buy an appearance and get sample houses. Essentially just builds the house for you from the store page. They asked for a few Eternal Island improvements or Eternal Land improvements, snap optimization, better island control with chat and social features, building and construction, and also increasing island farming limits. So pretty cool there. The one part I'm jealous of here is that all participants actually did get a plushie for the little dragon. Again, they haven't sold these, and this is actually one that they didn't send me. Although I'm perfectly happy with all the merch that I did get, this was one that I definitely did want though. As I mentioned, this update did also unveil the Season 8 Battle Pass, or at least just a few teasers for it. We also did get a name here. This definitely might change. They're calling it the Fragrant Enigma. They have some phrasing here like Aroma in the Mist, who's releasing the mysterious pheromones. Again, a lot of this stuff could change, but that's just kind of some of the theming there. They showed off some teasers here with some white satin heels, with strap and asymmetrical fishnet design as well. There was also a teaser for the new Starforged loot crate that's being called Eclipse Ember, gold data river eventually flowing through a digital aura in motion. As of right now though, essentially only this teaser image has been showcased. There is mention, or at least some speculation, of mechanical pulses of energy that break through the bound in reality. At least on the jacket, that's sort of the theming there with cyber visitors from future Metropolis. They do mention it is coming soon though. There was one last thing I actually did forget to mention here. This might coincide with the new scenario. I'm not exactly sure. They might showcase it off at this. But Once Human is going to be heading to Gamescom 2025 in Cologne, Germany. So we'll have to see. Maybe they do some unveilings there or even some teaser stuff. Definitely is the opportune moment they could showcase some things there. That one is actually spanning from August 21st to the 24th. Given the time zones, that actually does align with when the co-dev access is ending on the 22nd, at least in their time. So pretty cool there. Definitely worth a check out. Overall, though, that's about covered for today's video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and until the next one. Deuce!